What is going on, guys? Tuesday night, June 14th. We're coming at you live. Comic News Weekly and Brian from Simple Man's Comics. We have a great show lined up for you tonight. We're going to talk a little bit about Funko. Just bought Mondo. We just got news also that great PlayStation game that they're making a TV show, The Last of Us, just wrapped filming. And we are going to talk about a live action One Punch Man. Before we get into those topics, we are going to bring the members of the panel. We're running Fearsome Foursome tonight. Brian McClay could not join us. He is actually texting me right before saying he's on the line for possibly buying 386 Fleer Michael Jordan rookies. So I'm sure we'll get a follow up to that. I told him they're probably Fugazis, but either way, first up tonight, we got Mr. Dan Kim himself from the Dank Show YouTube channel. What's going on, Dan?
What up? Glad to be here to talk about that One Punch Man story later on, being that I've been campaigning to be One Punch Man in a live action film for the last year. But it's happening. It's on the table now.
You get new headshots?
No, but I do have headshots where, I have all these looks, and yeah, I'm still, it's in the air. It's in the air now. It's like starting to manifest.
Can't even show us Blue Steel. But also from the Rhinoverse on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, we have Mr. Ryan Hayslip. What's going on, buddy?
What's going down? What's shaking with the bacon? What's the hizzle and the fizzle? What's the dingle and the dangle?
You excited for the Falcons this year?
Heck yes, always. I'm ready to see if my favorite surfing NFL quarterback is going to tear it up, or if he's going to let the other guy take the reins.
You have a baseball team? You have a Major League Baseball team and all?
Stros. I'm from Houston. Yeah. You kind of have to be a Stros. I don't have to be Texans. They're second fiddle to the Falcons. So,
And then Fearsome Foursome, like I told you the last, but certainly not least, we have the button pusher, Mr. Producer, Alberto Jefe, Comic Man Andy. What's going on, Andy?
What's good, guys? Good golly, it hit 100 degrees in Michigan today. My brain is melted, and a couple of hiccups with StreamYard here tonight. We'll get through them. Man, I tell you what, I accidentally drank some holy water with my laxatives today. I'm about to have a religious movement.
I got nothing tonight. Only thing I got.
Look at Dan. Dan's like
some dangling dingleberries.
Holy sheet.
Yeah. That's what I was expecting it to be.
That's what I was going to say too. I was like, that's perfect for him.
No, it really did hit 100 degrees here in Michigan, and it is like everything's melting outside.
We see your brain has melted down your. Oh, that's your beard.
That's fair. That's fair.
That's not a beer. That's from talking so much sheet. But I want to welcome everyone that's coming to the chat right now. Like I said, we have some great topics. Before we get into the topics, I want to take a moment to also say thank you to the channel sponsor, these616comics.com. If you guys are looking for store exclusives, that is one great place. They got like Voltron going on there now. I've noticed a lot of exclusive variants of teaming up with other exclusive providers, and they're sharing and providing a lot of those same variants on their sites. These616comics.com is one of them. Also, friend of the channel, Drew from Wanted Comics. That's comic with an X. And then also check out Bird City Comics. Great place for store exclusives. So check those guys out. But there was some big news within our community, right? I wouldn't say this is big news all around, but if you're a collector, you're definitely familiar with Funko, and you're also most likely familiar with Mondo and those exclusive releases and those ghost drops. But Funko, along with Alamo Drafthouse, right? They just purchased Mondo. They didn't disclose the details of for how much, but it also seems like Funko is going to let Mondo continue to do their thing. They said they're going to continue to run it, kind of like when Funko purchased Loungefly. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Loungefly. They do a lot of those collector-sized backpacks and really popular with female collectors. But Mondo, known for vinyl records, known for screen print posters. Also, another great friend of the channel, Attack Peter. He's done a lot of stuff with Mondo. But what are you guys' thoughts on this? Do you guys buy a lot of Mondo as is? Do you think it's going to change a lot? I buy plenty of Funkos, that's for sure. And Funko seems to get their hands in like every type of collecting thing right now. I'm waiting for Funko to buy Fig Pin. What do you think?
Funko stuff is so overwhelming to me. It's everywhere. It's in everything. It's like another every store. It's like everywhere you turn is Funko. So I don't collect any. I don't have one. Maybe when a couple of my boys get in that age where they start seeing it and start gravitating toward it, maybe that'll become a thing. But I know that there's a fever pitch for them all over the place. I watch online. There's a lot of cool little Venom stuff all over the place. So I have no idea what that. When I hear Mondo, I think of Mondo Kane, which is a album from Mike Patton.
Ryan's right. I mean, like literally every convention. Obviously, you're gonna find Funkos all over conventions, but then when you leave the conventions, local shops, local stores, I've seen them at gas stations. I've seen them everywhere. It reminds me of the craze of Beanie Babies back in the day, but Funko never fell off and just continues to keep being around and being a thing. And I really, really like this acquisition of Mondo because not a lot of people know what Mondo is or what it does, and they have some of the most killer, exclusive, limited printings of posters, vinyls, things of that nature. Skeff turned me on to Mondo a couple seasons ago, maybe a year and a half, maybe 2 years ago when I first met him. And there are posters out there that you can get on original drop date for original prices that turn into like thousands of dollars worth of value because they're so scarce and limited. And the artwork that they get from artists for some of this stuff. Think Last of Us too. There's some Mondo posters out there that are really hard to find. Really cool. I'm interested to see where this goes. And the fact that Brian, that you said something about Fig Pin, it's got me thinking.
I know, right? It seems like they're buying everything else up. Dan, what do you think about all this?
I guess Mondo was selling out of Alamo Draft House, right? I guess that was their distribution.
Yeah.
That's kind of interesting. So I think the Alamos have been kind of struggling, especially during COVID. And this, I guess, makes sense because the Funko distribution network is kind of the Coca-Cola of toys. Like, it's just everywhere, Like, they could probably get AIDS drugs to places that are hard to reach with the Funko network, right? So you get the Mondo stuff out there. That's cool.
Yeah, they said they got a bunch of Funko had also just gotten a bunch of new investors, which I guess kind of led to some of this acquisition. But if you ever watched the Funko, I don't know if it's still on there, but Netflix used to have a documentary on Funko. And it was pretty cool how they like started with bobbleheads and stuff and kind of grew. And they did, I don't have a big insight into it, but I know within my circle, Funko, I won't say declined, but a lot of people like, hey, it wasn't as popular as it was at one point because at one you could get like those old first releases of the Tupacs and the Biggies and those early release, those things were selling at thousands of dollars and they re-released more. But the ones to always look for, of course, are some exclusives, some chase, and then of course buy what you like at the same time. But I know today they were just revealing the exclusives that were coming out for San Diego Comic-Con this year. And if it's in person like it used to be, some of those are really hard to get, especially like the Toy Tokyo ones. You'd have to get the lottery and get tickets. So it's crazy. They definitely, I think they know how to market some of that, but they also make it available for everyone that wants to buy something. There's a Funko Pop or, the soda cans. They got every type of release. It's crazy to watch, but Funko is definitely a staple in pop culture at the moment.
I can't believe how big Funko is. Is it a fad or is it here to stay? What's going on, gentlemen?
I think it's here to stay.
I thought it was a fad. I was like, this Funko thing, I was like, that'll be gone soon. But man, it's sticking around pretty good.
I buy a lot of the Masters of the Universe Funko Pops. And then what also I liked about is Mondo at one time released 6-scale, kind of like Hot Toys. They released 6-scale Masters of the Universe figures. And then they also had Sideshow Collectibles was selling them, but they actually came from Mondo. So you had like Skeletor, He-Man, Mossman, Man of Arms. So I picked up a bunch of those at the time. So I'm crazy. I'm anxious to see. And then, of course, Mondo with those ghost drops, man. It's hard to find some of their stuff because they'll say, this is releasing sometime tomorrow.
I think
look out for it.
I think Funko might be interested in my company, Bonjo. I make food related to pop culture, like it's a restaurant chain.
Heck yeah, it'd be like
I hope they buy it. It's Bonjo, Funko, Mondo, Bonjo. Let's do this.
Yeah, bro.
Now, I thought Funko was a fad at the very beginning, and then, like Dank said, it's like the Coca-Cola of toys. And for some reason, they found a way to uniquely, massively distribute their product while making most of it different enough that it's not, that was kind of like Beanie Babies. They just produce, spin them out, spin them out, spin them out. And then after overproducing and oversaturating the market, then they went to limited or exclusives. And I don't think Funko ever got to that market saturation with overproduction. And I think they played it a lot smarter. I think they actually probably used the Beanie Baby situation way back then as kind of a model of what not to do. I bet you they probably learned through some of those mistakes and kind of veered when they needed to.
No,
yeah,
I
and
mean
it's
they
crazy the licenses
licensing.
they require.
They license everything. That's the thing.
Yeah.
They
There's
got
stores.
everyone decided universally they were all gonna allow Funko a license. So like everybody got on board. So it's like Spielberg decided to make a toy line, and everyone's like, "All right, we're on board, Spielberg."
Yeah. And I don't know if too much competition that they had. I'm sure there was some other vinyl figures and stuff, but I don't know. Never say never also, because I think as a kid, I wasn't smart enough to think about it, but at the time as a kid, who would have thought Kenner wouldn't have stayed around with all their Star Wars figures?
I mean, they get something new comes up, they can just make a bobble or one of those little Funko things of it. So it's like always kind of relevant. It's kind of, I think, where it kind of keeps us safe because any new creation, new popular thing. I mean, they probably have a Blippy thing over there somewhere.
Yeah, it's like a tit for tat. I think you're right, Ryan. When something new comes up, the whoever created this thing that's new, that's hot, that's going viral, is pretty unlikely to deny Funko a license if there's a license needed, because that's just more marketing, more advertising.
Is there not a
Yeah.
website to print your own Funkos?
I believe there is, and then I know also it's kind of super expensive if you wanted to create an exclusive Funko. I know there's some places to do it, but a lot of them are big retailers like Big Bad Toy Store. Some of those have their own exclusive Funko, almost like, I won't say chase, but I know some people are looking at one of the things we kept asking for, which is a bigger name now, but when it was smaller, when talking to David Boer and Drew Zucker, we're talking all things Kanto, 7 seasons in a movie. We keep calling for, we want a Kanto Funko Pop. Hopefully we'll get it, man. I'd still love a little Kanto Funko.
Man, that is perfect little thing. Perfect for that toy. Is it a toy or did they? They don't take it out of the box, right? They don't like to play with it.
So we do.
Collectors don't. I tell you, if you do want to take them out of the box and you're looking for a perfect place to display them, at Michael's they sell those baseball bat display boxes, and it's got glass and the door pops up and they fit perfectly for a lot of the Funkos, but they don't fit in the. You have to take them out of the box.
I know.
So I took a bunch out and I kept the boxes. They're sitting in plastic totes, and then I have baseball bat displays, but then on top of it, I have Funkos in the box stacked up the rest of the wall.
Do you all
And then,
remember? Sorry.
Go ahead.
Did anyone ever go to Toy Tokyo before in New York?
No.
So they were like introducing the vinyl figures, these custom vinyl figures. That was like a thing that started in the 90s. And a lot of times it was like in LA and Japan and shit like that. And it started to get bigger and bigger, and they were really expensive. And Funko is basically a derivative form of that,
Yeah. There's a Toy Tokyo Ram Man Funko Pop Master Universe that is super expensive and out of my price range now, but I was hunting it for a while.
That store was awesome. I would go there. They would have all the Godzilla stuff. Like,
Closest thing I had to that growing up was the Spencer's.
Yeah.
yeah, Spencer's, where you saw like how large boobs could be.
Huh?
Very large.
Different kind of Spencers.
No, what Spencer's did you go to?
I don't know. It doesn't sound like that one.
Well, I went to the one with like fart spray and fucking.
Yeah. That was like the shop to go to in the mall as a kid.
Yeah, the very back. That first like 6 feet into the store was like family friendly. Anything beyond that, though.
Yeah.
That's funny.
We look like a Spencer's right now with our
We
lighting.
do.
We look like a Simon.
We need.
Simon
We
board.
need. Only thing is, we need Ryan to turn his light on. He was messing with, so we got the little strobe going. And we'd look just like
It
a
would have been
Spencer.
perfect.
Right.
I actually like strobe. You know, some people, I used to sleep to strobes.
The black light posters with the marijuana leaf and shit. Spencer's.
And speaking of posters and speaking of Mondo, and if you're talking Mondo, you know what else you can talk about is The Last of Us. Killer news dropping right now. In all seriousness, HBO's The Last of Us series does wrap filming. What was this? Yesterday, I think. No, this is June 11th. Boy, time's flying by. But as they said when on Twitter and social media accounts right here, production of the series adaptation of Last of Us is wrapped. Executive producer Craig Mazin has confirmed on social media the primetime Emmy-winning creator of Chernobyl revealed the news in the wee hours of the morning on Twitter, simply writing, "That's a wrap." And this is really exciting for me because this is a nice little rabbit hole that we get to go down, because not only is the series wrapping up, that executive producer, Craig Mazin, if you guys haven't seen Chernobyl, was absolutely fantastic. So I feel like he's going to set the bar high with this. They also announced remaking the game. It's kind of a hot controversy, remaking for PS5, but I'm really excited for that, to relive that story in high-end graphics if I can find a PS5. But then they've also announced, it's just been a week of Last of Us news, the voice actors, and I had them written down. Ashley Johnson and Troy Baker, I think it is their names. They're both getting significant roles in the show, not just cameos, but significant roles. Now, if Double O's in the chat watching tonight, and I saw him earlier, him and his wife are huge Last of Us fans, so they know when I say the energy is running high. And I wasn't too far off on my prediction of seeing this in 2022, the tail end. We're going to be seeing it potentially February of 2023 or early 2023 is what I'm hearing. So I know this is kind of flying under the radar for a lot of you guys, but I'm curious if and how this news has sat with you guys this week on this series. They have been dropping tons of sneak peeks, tons of little clips and snippets without oversharing too much of the details, some set pictures. I'm curious where you guys are on this and if you guys have even seen any of this going on.
Well, I'll tell you the one thing that's going to set the tone for the show for me. It could be great cinematography. You know, it could be great acting. If it doesn't have the soundtrack like the Last of Us game has, it's gonna be something that's off. And you saw today, it came up on my Facebook memories. 9 years ago, I was playing the Last of Us on PlayStation. But I'm excited for it. Plus, I want it to succeed because I'm still looking forward to that God of War that's gonna from Amazon Prime. I like seeing video games get adapted and do well now. We're seeing a lot more of that than what we used to see. And I think, you know, HBO, they put their money where their mouth is with this, with the talent. I just hope the soundtrack is great. And like you mentioned, the producer was also the creator of the Chernobyl show, right? And that show was fantastic.
Yeah, they're really putting their money where their mouth is, so to speak, because each episode of this series costs more than each final episode of Game of Thrones. They're putting even more money into this than they did the final season of Game of Thrones, so they're not joking around. And I mean, you cast Pedro Pascal, who's one of the busiest actors out there when it comes to streaming media and streaming shows, and Bella Ramsey, who was a significant powerhouse on Game of Thrones, in two of the most substantial video game roles out there, whether there's controversy or not. The other news that just hit for this was Part 2, Last of Us Part 2, broke 10 million copies sold recently this past month or two, if I remember correctly. So that's saying a lot.
Have you seen movement on the comic? I haven't been paying attention to it. Is the comic book doing anything? I mean, it's hard to find as it is, but
so when they first announced the series, that comic book did go up substantially, and grade affects value quite a bit, the condition. So I feel like there's still a lot of undiscovered copies in bins, but it's a dark horse print. It's not heavily printed. It's difficult to get in high grade. I don't think we're going to see a lot of movement until that show drops, because right now the movement that we have been seeing over the last year or two, those are diehard collectors of the game and people that know about the comic book. Because let's be honest, if you Google search Last of Us comic book, 90% of the hits that are going to come up are going to be guides on how to find the comic books collected within the game. Little small spoiler, the first game has the characters collecting comic books throughout the Last of Us universe, not universe, but the gameplay world. So searching for the Last of Us comic book is difficult to begin with on Google. Prices, like I said, did go up. I know 9/8 were trending well over $1,000 at some point for asking. And I think sold prices were probably 20-30% under that.
Isn't this one that also had like the collector's edition of the game had a different copy?
Yeah,
of the
there was like a post-pan, I don't know, Apocalypse version that was distributed, like a basically a deluxe elite version, probably something for 100 or 120 bucks, that had a variant edition comic book in it. But that book was not bagged, was not boarded, and was in like a fabric holder, so most of them got damaged quite a bit. And the European edition had a mini version of that comic too that's really tough to find. Really cool, super good opportunities to like collect Last of Us stuff if you can find it and get educated on it. This is something. I think this is a sleeping giant, a juggernaut of a show waiting to drop. The thing is, it's going to be a slow burn. That first season is going to have to drop. Word of mouth is going to have to spread. People are going to get pulled into it. Like when Game of Thrones dropped, the first season of Game of Thrones didn't really get the attention until second or third season, if I remember right, and really start hitting hard. I think Game of Thrones is going to get a softer opening than what they're expecting, but give it time. I'm hoping that was it Craig Mazin really delivers like he did on Chernobyl, and it knocks people's socks off.
Craig Mazin is a very famous screenwriter. He also does a podcast called Script Notes where he talks about screenwriting and the business of screenwriting in Hollywood and stuff, and he's very like no frills. He wrote the Hangover series too, actually. He wrote a lot of stuff, Identity Thief or whatever. And then Chernobyl, people like poo-pooed him because he was a comedy guy, just like they poo-pooed the guy that did Joker, you know? But they nailed it, you know, Craig Mazin and the director of Joker.
Joker 2, the musical with Lady Gaga.
Oh, that was the director of Hangover.
It's on the way.
Todd Phillips.
And if you haven't watched Chernobyl on HBO, definitely recommend that.
But yeah, if he's working on it, then that's great news because he's a genius. And Pedro Pascal, yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I have no idea what this is about, actually. So I don't want to know.
Yeah,
I don't play video games.
About this thing.
Okay, so I got to say this for all of the listeners out there, people listening on the podcast that share the same feelings that Dank has of I don't play games. This game is less of a game to be played and more of a story to unfold in front of somebody holding a controller. This felt less like playing a video game and more like diving into. For anybody that's read a book when they were a kid and the book was so good you couldn't put it down and you lost sleep at night because you couldn't go to bed and you wanted to get into chapter after chapter after chapter, you couldn't put that story down. That's how this series is delivered in video game format.
Was this Naughty Dog? Who I forget who made the game again.
Naughty Dog, Neil Druckmann.
Yep. So I mean, just like Uncharted. So.
Yeah, I've heard about that, and I know I've heard you talk about it a number of times. I just don't know anything about the series. And again, I wasn't a gamer, and I am more of a gamer now than I've been in a long time. But I didn't know anything about this whenever I have very little. But I'll definitely check it out for sure.
Hey, one big thing for everybody listening right now, if they have not read Last of Us, is watch Brian's video on YouTube about Hoopla and how you can read comics for free on Hoopla, because The Last of Us can be found on Hoopla if your local library has it, and you can read it for free and at least get a taste of how that's delivered at the very beginning.
It's kind of a post-apocalyptic virus.
It's
saying that it sounds like everything else is out there right now.
But it's like the best. It's like the best of Walking Dead with the best of Mad Max with the best of a couple of other things, and it really draws you in as a viewer and as a player, and really tugs at your heartstrings. And really, I mean, it's a game that'll make you cry.
Oh, the soundtrack! It's almost like spaghetti western strings. As Double O said, the composer is attached to the show, so I'm excited.
The composer actually makes a cameo in the second game, sitting in a chair playing a banjo. Really cool fact.
So,
Speaking of Hoopla, another thing you can get on Hoopla is One Punch Man, the graphic novel, and you can read that, which you should because the live-action film has been greenlit, and Justin Lin, director of many Fast and Furious films, including the latest Fast X, will be directing the live-action One Punch Man, the cult classic anime that people love about the super overpowered Saitama and how he's sort of depressed. It's about depression actually. It's a comedy, by the way. I don't know if people know. It's like a comedy, and he's way overpowered, and everyone else is like trying to be the most powerful and taking it very seriously. But he's depressed. He doesn't care, and he is the most powerful being on the like in the universe. Like no matter what, and it's like anticlimactic and funny for that reason. So, and Justin Lin can do indie like films, character pieces. He's done that, and he can do that fantastical fucking cars coming out with parachutes and shit. So this movie is probably gonna be, and I've been campaigning to play One Punch Man for the last year in a live action film. I think I can do it. I think I'm the one.
You look
putting
like
it out there. I think this film is a manifestation of something I've been putting out there
you need
already.
to create a bunch of Instagram stories and tag them in it.
Yeah, but again, I'm announcing again, Justin, Mr. Lin, just message me on Instagram and let's work this out because I know they didn't cast Saitama, but I can do this, man. Look, I can do that. Look at that.
This is something I have more faith in Sony Pictures doing than any Spider-Verse movie. This seems to fit more the wheelhouse for me, where yes, it's a licensed property, but it's something that, you know, I won't say they can't mess up as much because that's never true. But and I liked how a lot of the web articles that were running this story, they didn't not like this where they said One Punch Man. It was always Justin Lin, who left Fast X or Fast 10, has a new project.
He left.
They like buried the
10.
lead. And then you go in and look at it and it's like, oh, he's going on to One Punch Man instead of just saying, hey, One Punch Man is being adapted.
Are you saying that because there's not much for it to be compared to, so that's why it'd be hard for them to mess it up?
Yeah, I think this is, you know, it's a smaller universe. I have to be careful how I say it because it's not like One Punch Man is a smaller universe, but to me, I don't have much reference material to go off of.
There's
So
a
my
whole
expectations
guild.
aren't gonna be
There's like
as
a
high
guild
as-
of the most powerful warriors, and it's like 100 people, and they all compete, and they're all different people, and they're all super serious. But he's more powerful than all of them, and he doesn't care, and it drives people nuts.
Hashtag One Punch Dank. Double O just put it out there.
Dude,
One
seriously,
punch dank.
I can do it. I can do it.
Do you think this will also, because we were talking about this before we went live, how especially the younger generation, my boys especially 8 and 11, are like super into anime right now, and my youngest even so into manga. Do you think this will further grow that audience? Do you think it'll bring more people over to that?
They're just experimenting more. Like the Japanese, because comics are so much bigger there than here. They're just playing with every genre. There's like so much variety, and there's comics for every type of person, and it's just not like it is here. So that's why they're taking over, because our industry is not thriving the way it is in Asia. Yeah, it's what it is.
I could see it not edging, but pushing things along a little bit more. I mean, released in 2012, so you got a lot of 14, 15-year-old people that kind of, 5, 6, 7, 8 years old, probably like 15 to 20-year-olds, that next generation that's getting into college and eventually getting out of college and into a job or a career. This will be adapted and out and on screen for about those people to have some disposable income. So I think it could do pretty well, and it would add more draw, more interest for people as it continues to develop and get bigger.
Yeah, and it looks like they're not one and done. They want to create a franchise with it.
Makes sense.
And they do a crossover with me and Shang-Chi.
There you go.
I'll go see it. I'm not like I said, I'm not a big anime or manga fan, but if it looks good, I'll go see it. That's for sure.
I'll invite you to premiere.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you. Appreciate that.
I think you're gonna start to see more and more projects over time. This one being one of the first like adaptations where like you want to build a whole line of movies or shows where they start to blur that line between anime, manga, and US releases, where things start to blur a little bit more, where it's not a hard, fast set line where those things kind of tend to merge a little bit more. And I could see manga sales growing substantially over the next 10 years here in the United States.
Yeah, and I'll be happy to see a successful live action. Didn't they do a live action Dragon Ball Z that had like the guy from Party of Five?
Yeah, they gotta just do it again. They gotta try again.
Yeah.
They-
Let me ask you this, because you're more of an anime fan. Do you have a anime another one that you would like to see a live action?
Who are you talking to, me?
Yeah, you.
Yeah,
I'm not really an anime fan.
You know more than I did.
No, I just study the industry.
You're taking me to
industry.
school before the live stream.
I just like watch a little bit, but like when I talk it to the 20-year-olds and kids
yeah.
that are 20, 25, they know like dozens of shows and they love it all, and I can't even believe it, and they're like saying Japanese names and I don't know what's going on. And I'm like, wow.
Yeah,
This is
like
the
I said,
future, I guess.
my kids are all about it now. They're watching it in Hulu. I guess I have to look into is it Crunchyroll, or was Crunchyroll bought out by someone? I
Crunchyroll.
forget.
Yeah, One Punch Man on Crunchyroll. Watch it. You'll enjoy One Punch Man. It's sardonic.
Yeah, my kids are all about Demon Slayer right now. So
I love that band.
and they asked, and it's funny because they asked for they wanted both versions, because there's like an English dub version and then there's the traditional version. And they asked for both, and I was like, I'm only right now at $20. I'm only buying one version. Which one do you want?
What? Wow. They must love that shit. How old are they?
8 and 11, and they're all proud because they're wearing like Demon Slayer. They both have the same Demon Slayer shirt they wore to school.
Wow.
And then like,
wow.
they were home. They were out of school early one day, and wife and I were both working. I guess my wife walked by, and I guess there was some female on the screen that had like gigantic titties. What the heck?
No wonder.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Now it all makes sense.
It's like, it's okay. I don't know why it's so big, to be honest.
That's what she said.
It's like Friends, you know?
Dang, you were my. So let me ask you: if you had, and we know who Dank would want to play if he had the opportunity to play a character, Andy. Who would you play if you had the opportunity to play any character?
I couldn't even tell you. I've watched so much anime over the years, and some
It
of
doesn't have
it.
to be anime, anything.
Anything.
Yeah, any comic book character.
Any comic book character? Microchip from the Punisher series. That's who I'd play.
Not shirtless bear fighter.
Nah.
Hacksaw Jim Duggan. Bio.
I don't know. There's something. I grew up reading all of the Punisher reads in the 80s and the 90s, and Microchip was always a very fascinating character because Frank Castle was in the spotlight in every series, in every story. But Microchip was always the one in the shadows, kind of doing a lot of that espionage, spy stuff, creating all of the gadgets and trying things out and giving them to Frank. And I always had sometimes I've always had sometimes I've always said, I'm all over the place tonight. Like I said, 100 degrees in Michigan has fried my brain. But it's always kind of like when I'm reading a series, I'm always kind of like, where's Microchip in this? Where's he at in all this?
So,
What would?
what about Donatello? Do you like Donatello as well? Does
You
he?
saying that he would be a good Donatello?
Well, Microchip and Donatello are similar.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I
Anyway,
can
yes.
I can see that.
Would.
I don't know, man. I'd play Chris Farley in a biopic, or live action Peter Griffin.
In a van down by the river.
Dude,
But
Live
Peter
action
Griffin.
Peter
There
Griffin.
you go.
Bam Bam Bigelow. I'm thinking, I was the Big Boss Man. Dude, there's so many possibilities for Hodor's little son.
Hodor's little son. Yeah, you and Sean Kirkham can cosplay that one.
But yeah, I haven't given it much thought, but I'm trying to think of how many 6'3", 300-pound leading
We don't
men.
have to look like him. That's the whole beauty of
Oh,
playing. You could be anyone. Who would you want to play as a character? You don't have to be looking like him. It's CGI. You can do anything.
we have to mocap my ass.
Wow.
And those in the chat, who would be your favorite character to play in anything? I think for me, I would either like to play one of the guys from Metalocalypse or Soundwave from Transformers.
Ooh.
Soundwave from Transformers would be cool.
Hell yeah, that'd be really awesome.
I would want to be like in a group of people back to my youth in the 80s, and like a Goonies style movie, or as Stranger Things is right now. Those are always my favorite types of movies to watch. And I think it'd be cool to be in like a Toy Soldiers, Red Dawn. It's got to be like a team up movie adventure.
Well, Great American Hero is always one of my favorite shows.
Believe it or not.
Yeah. Believe it or not, I'm walking on air. I love that show. That was a great show. I used to always think, I was like, God, that'd be cool if that happened to me.
Yeah.
He's just a regular old Joe, and he got powers.
So, yeah, that's a good topic. Dang, if you weren't One Punch Man, who would you be?
I would be a Ninja Turtle.
Be a Ninja Turtle?
Yeah,
Donatello?
I wanted to be a Ninja Turtle when I was a kid. I really wanted to ooze. I didn't want to be human, actually. Sick of human world. I wanted to be a Ninja Turtle
The
instead.
green background gave it away.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got the secret of the ooze back there.
I like it. It fits.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, let us know in the chat. Let us know in the comments. If you could play anyone, what would you be?
Pretty fun to be fun. It's a fun thing to kind of daydream about.
Yeah, that's one that I'd like to have a little bit more thought into. But
Come back next week. Tell us what you think.
We'll see. I'll get back to you on that. Let me run some numbers.
Yeah.
But speaking of numbers, tomorrow is New Comic Book Day. To me, it's a little light. But Andy, what are you picking up tomorrow?
Do I get to do a topic or?
I thought that was your topic.
I was gonna do one more thing, just in that vein. If you have
one more thing's at the end of the show.
Oh, son of a bee!
No, go ahead. What do you got?
Who's gonna play Amber Heard's character?
Margot Robbie.
Margot Robbie.
They want the.
You're talking about like in Aquaman?
Yeah.
Blake Lively's who everyone's saying should play it. For Mira.
She's a nice lady. I haven't seen much of her acting.
So they fully canned her today, huh?
He's coming out of his shell.
Turtle. Did they can her today? I mean, it's not something I saw in headlines.
100%. She's got canned 100%.
Yeah,
what?
And everything.
They said that she's good. They did a test screening. And after the test screening, the crowd poo-pooed it so hard that they did the test screening yesterday, canned her today, and they're going to reshoot her spot.
Let's be fair. Is it because are they poo-pooing it because it's a DC film, or are they poo-pooing it because she's in it?
They poo-pooed her.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Just saying that's what was going on. So that they're
the poo just comes back around.
they have a year. Yeah, that's where the poo comes from.
You
They
need
have
some double ply bed sheets.
Oh,
They have a year to, I guess, before it's supposed to come out. So, and she had like 26 minutes of time on there because they upped it. They originally upped it after the trial, and then they
people got really pissed off at that.
Then they did the test screening, and after yesterday's test screening, she pooped for real.
Yeah.
Oh, this topic stinks.
We'll be here all night. Yeah.
Oh.
So are you picking up Aquaman tomorrow, Andy? New comic book day? I'm just kidding.
Oh,
what are you picking up for new comic book day?
Oh, let me get there. Holy sheet. There is not a lot of comics coming out tomorrow.
I gotta see. I haven't even checked myself.
I checked my email right before we went live, and I've got a whopping $15 of books on my pull list tomorrow. And I'll just go straight to the first thing that I'm grabbing out of that pull box is Star Wars Bounty Hunters 24 is out because I like what they're doing with the Sprouse variants now. The Choose Your Own Destiny. Now, this General Grievous cover looks pretty cool. But more importantly, I'm hopping on this bandwagon because there's an Ahsoka Tano cover coming up in, I think, July 20th. Then FOC for that is in 6 days. But all of these books have this black border and black background. And we all know where Penguin Random House has been and with Marvel's been with their cover paper quality. So I'm going to be searching for a really, really solid 9.8 to get graded for the personal collection because I just feel like the paper quality and with everything going on right now, this is going to be really tough to find in high grade. That's also going to be my read of the week because it's the only Star Wars book out. And because there's so little dropping, I'm going to leave it at that and let you guys take the wheel. Jesus, take the wheel.
Dang, what are you picking up?
Speaking of Jesus, I'm getting Seven Sons. Issue 1.
Some Jay Lee goodness in there too.
Jay Lee goodness, yes, and Robert Wyndham and Kevin Mao. But Jay Lee is the artist, cover artist. June Chung is colorist. Anyway, it's about I don't know. I mean, a young man who maybe the second coming of Christ runs for his life as he attempts to learn the truth behind his existence. And it's got the creepy Jay Lee goodness. See what happens. I mean, that looks like a lot of fun. Speaking of fun, do a power bomb.
Yes.
That looks like a lot of fun.
That was my pick, but yes.
Yes.
Yeah, who likes? I mean,
it's another. Both of those are Image books, and they both look great. Daniel Warren Johnson, right?
Yeah, and there's a lot of wrestling books out there, but this one it's got something about it. Something about it just feels a little different. So gonna check that out.
Yeah, it's like Dara wants to be a pro wrestler, but she's living in the shadows of her mom, who's like a superstar, right? And then there's a wrestling obsessed necromancer that invites her to a tournament. So, kind of reminds me of the Shadow Man and Princess and the Frog. So, I'm excited for. Do you have the Doo-Doo Power Bomb book? It's a do a power bomb.
Doo-Doo.
Ryan, our family's done. Okay, Ryan, what are you getting?
Yeah, nothing. There's not really much that I'm looking forward to this week. It's pretty easygoing week. I was trying to see if something was coming up, but I guess I don't have to spend my money, so I can save it for the weekend. I was trying to see if there's any FOC stuff. There's an Alien annual that's going to come out for FOC this week, or will come out on Monday. So I'll probably make sure they have that. But nothing I'm picking up this week.
Yeah. Dan, it's in the chat, but Dan did pre-order Calculated Man.
Yeah, I did.
I heard a couple of people talking about that, and I think there was some variant action going on. Yep, 1 in 15.
Yep.
El Variante.
Oh, that one's kind of slick.
Oh, yeah, it looks like Lethal Protector number 4 is on FOC as well.
Yeah, like you said, it's a light week, but there's some killer covers in here if I can find them while you guys are talking.
The only other one I had to do a power bomb, but then Grim number 2 from Boom Studios comes out tomorrow. I enjoyed the first issue, so look forward to picking that up. I also wanted to say, if you're a fan of The Closet and a fan of James Tynan, Midtown has signed copies of The Closet number 1 on their site right now for $3.99, and that, some of the variants signed by James Tynan too, which is a little bit more, but. I put that in the Patreon Discord, but let you guys know on the live stream as well.
Hey, Brian. New game every week. If there's a Boom title on the list, let's ask everybody in the chat what the over-under is for the number of variant covers they're going to do for it. I'm going to say 6 for this one, and I did not peek.
Third print for number 1 comes out tomorrow too.
Ooh.
Oh, look at you, you peeker.
I did not peek. I just guessed. Virgin Variant, but you said the second print for number 1. The second print for number 1, I heard people talking about it being under ordered.
Yeah, I want to say second print or third print comes out tomorrow. I know there's an additional printing.
I don't get me wrong. I think Boom is firing on all cylinders, and I love. Oh my God, look at that cover! I love what they're coming out with. I'm just personally getting a lot of variant burnout as somebody who collects as a completionist collector. I can't keep up with this. So Grim, I'm probably going to read digital. And you told me to check it out, and I did check out the first issue, and I agree with you, Brian. I think it's fun. I think it's going to be fun. I don't know how long of legs it's going to really have, but I think it's a fun read.
Yeah. I know a lot of copies are still available. A lot of places online. The incentive variant, I think, seems to be the one that's mostly sold out, but yeah, third print tomorrow, 00.
You know, not many people are talking about the Sandman Universe Nightmare Country anymore, but some of these covers are crazy.
Maybe they'll talk about it more when Sandman hits Netflix.
That's not too far around the corner.
Yep. So there is a light week for New Comic Book Day. That's just going to leave us with one more thing.
No mas.
One more thing. Oh, Beardo, what do you got?
Ooh, one more thing is we are getting into summer and it's getting into those hot days. I am hoping to spend some more time down here, not only working on recording and editing content, not just doing live content, but getting back into the swing of things of utilizing mobile devices to record. So look for a lot more CGC unboxings and openings recorded and uploaded 15, 20 minutes maybe. But more, what I'm really interested in is I've rediscovered a love for button mashing Sega, Super Nintendo, PlayStation 1 games. I've discovered the plethora of like disc trading and stuff like that. Those shops, you know, those resale shops in local towns where they buy everybody's old video games and resell them. I walked into one the other day and picked up like $60 worth of games for $5 or $10 a pop. And now I'm actually going down that rabbit hole on Reddit, trying to find the best quality tube TV or CRT TV that I can find locally to sit down and actually play it like I did back in the early 2000s, because you can't really hook up a PS1 or a PS2 to an LCD TV. It doesn't look right. It just, I don't know if anybody out there listening can comment down below or reach me on IG. I'd love to talk more about some of that retro gaming. I'm like a decade beyond most everybody else, but still, it's fun. I sat down and played one of the original Diablo games and just mashed a button for a couple hours. And I'm like, yeah, I need to get back into this a little more.
There's a shop down here called Game Over Video Game. It's a little chain right here in the Houston area. It's about 2 or 3 different shops. And it's nothing but retro games. There's not one game in it that's brand new. It's all like been, they have like in television and stuff like that in there. So it's pretty cool. I go in and just look around. So if I can find you something, let me know.
Yeah, you need like an NVIDIA Shield and then just use the emulators like
I have a hard time with emulators. Just keeping an emulator running on a PC or something like that. I don't know. I've found a love
Raspberry Pi.
those getting the cartridges, looking for the cartridges. Half the fun is the hunt, right?
You
Same
sound
with
like my
Funko.
kid wants me to spend money on old shit, and I'm like, no. I'm not getting you a 3DS, jackass. Get out of
It's
here. You got to
expensive too, man. It's like it's cheap, very expensive.
Depends on where you look, but
It's cool. Nostalgia, man, it drives me. But what do you got, Dan?
Being that it's summer now, right? It's not summer yet, I guess. It's almost summer, but cold brew iced coffee.
Nice.
Make cold brew iced coffee at home. I make it at home. You make cold brew concentrate. There's like devices you can get to make it.
I would say, do you have one of those ones that's like really, really slow drip?
Kinda. But the thing about cold brew is that if you're feeling lazy and shit, you can just pour it, cut it with water, microwave it 90 seconds to 2 minutes. Hot cup of the delicious coffee. It's delicious. It's sweet. It's strong. And it's no work because you make the concentrate. It takes like 1 day, but then you have like basically the best tasting instant coffee every morning.
What about nitro brew? That seems to be really popular. Have you had that?
Nitro.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just thinking about stuff to do at home to save money.
Yep.
Yeah.
seriously, the science behind that supports what Dank is saying, because if coffee is brewed cold, it doesn't create that not element or it doesn't get bitter. If you brew coffee hot and then let it get cold, that's why it turns bitter. So cold brew coffee is always going to be a lot smoother and richer in flavor.
You don't say. That's interesting. Never knew that.
It's stronger too, way stronger.
Yeah. We got Ryan.
Called the Dank Tank.
The Dinker Tinker. I'm excited. I'm going to Fan Expo this weekend. I haven't been to a big comic convention in, I don't know, it's been I can't remember the last time I've been. I've been to a bunch of smaller ones here in the Houston area. And so I'm real stoked. I'm going to do solo mission to Dallas. And, very nice. Very nice.
Yeah.
So I'm stoked to go see that. There's a lot of people, artists going to be there. Like, no, it's completely slips my mind. But I know Umberto Ramos is going to be there, and Jim Lee is going to be there, and just a bunch of folks. So
Skeff is going to be there.
Skeff's going to be there. Cool. I'm trying to find some folks to run into. So if you're in the Dallas area and you're going, let me know, because I'll be.
Hit up Yee. He's even there in Houston.
Yep.
Yeah, I know. No, I talked to Yee the other day. He and I were thinking about rolling up there together, but he's going to be doing. He's got something going on with some comic. So was one of the some group. I guess I can't remember who they are. The whatever it is, but. Yeah, so it's gonna be fun. I'll be solo. I'm looking forward to having just some time to myself to unwind, let the brain kind of defrag from all the work and everything else, and then find some good deals and get some stuff signed and just chillax.
Yeah.
Solo Rhino.
CBCS is doing on-site grading.
They are?
That's what 00's saying.
Oh, sweet! Because there's a local CBCS facilitator here. So
aren't they out of like that area?
Was that
Beckett CBCS? Don't they?
They're
out
from
of
Dallas.
Texas.
Yeah,
they're from that Dallas. Yeah. So I'm really looking forward to it. I haven't been to a show like this big in a long time. So I might do some live stuff on Rhinoverse, the YouTube or Facebook thing. Kind of take a page out of Andy's book and do some live stuff there. I finally got today. They said that I'm approved on the Whatnot thingamabobber deal. So, and I know they're going to be there. So I'm going to see if someone told me you could somehow
12 times the charm, or how many times has it been?
Man, 4 times. So I can connect with them while I'm there through that somehow. So yeah, it's going to be like a little adventure. Let's go check it out. And then I think on Friday night, I'm going to go see a band called Rings of Saturn. And they're playing in Dallas, and so I might go check them out while I'm there too.
Is that like a cover band of Rings of Uranus?
I can't even use these now. Wah, wah, wah. Speaking of Amber Heard and turds,
Yeah.
no, Rings of Saturn is a badass metal band. There's a bunch of wankery in it, so check it out.
Sweet. Before I go, I want to say thank you so much to Cantankerous for that super chat, and I agree. Every time Shirtless Bear Fighter gets mentioned, Angel gets his wing. They're bringing that back too, aren't they? Shirtless Bear Fighter, I believe. So I also want to just take the time. This Thursday, the 16th, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. If you guys aren't familiar with Sean Kirkham or Comics Vault Live, make sure you guys are following the Skybound Facebook group. They have some of these comics we talked about that are releasing tomorrow. They got 6 books coming out for this week's Comics Vault Live. They have Duo Powerbomb, an exclusive Daniel Warren Johnson variant. Oblivion Song number 36, one of my favorite and friends of the channel, Attack Peter, is doing a sweet cover for that. Skybound presents After School number 1. They got a Jason Sean Alexander Glow in the Dark variant. Seven Sons has a John Pearson gold foil variant. Sins of the Black Flamingo has a Yoshi Yashitani variant. And then they have the Closet number 1 Chris Sheehan Glow in the Dark variant. So that's this Thursday, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern on Skybound's Facebook group. You can RSVP on the Skybound website, but they sell a lot of great books. Those are going to be all CGC 9/8s, and I don't know the print runs on them, but they're usually fairly limited. So if you guys are interested in that, make sure you guys check that out. Again, Fearsome Foursome, kind of a compressed show tonight. Slow comic week for New Comic Book Day, but appreciate everyone in the chat. If you have a topic for Ryan for his surprise topic that we always do each week, make sure you guys put it in the comments, and we'll be sure to talk about it on the show. With that being said, guys, we will see you next week.
Look, they talking like they don't know a king when they see one. See him in person, he take it back like a refund. Ballin' with my brothers, all my playing D1. Daily checking chicken, he gon' spin it watching reruns. Say they real, but they